So this video was originally going to be a series of shorts I released over a week, but thanks to outside circumstances, it's been way too long and these figures are considered old thanks to the advent of the recent Hasbro Pulse stream. So instead of letting what I already worked on collect dust, I've decided to just compile them all into this one video. No real history with this wave specifically, so let's just dive in. Yep, not even going to acknowledge the waste of time that was the month-long announcement extravaganza the Pulse crew did in March, which should have just been one big stream instead of 5, because everything got leaked months, weeks, or in a lot of cases, hours beforehand. The recent stream was a better way of doing things, but spoilers for Wave 3, I only want 2 things, and they're both bad day purchases. Oh, and speaking of 2 things I didn't purchase, Chromia. Guess somebody stayed in the peep board for too long. Look, I'm not saying every fembot should be Firebird and IC, but at the same time, if you're going to use a male bot as a basis for your remold, put more effort into it. Also, this is just straight up the G1 head. I'm shocked the Cyberverse fans aren't throwing a fit over this, though in their defense, they did just get done being fetuses, so... I'm pissing off a lot of people right now. Now, don't get me wrong, this figure looks badass, but in terms of importance in the G1 character hierarchy, he's basically Paradrome right now. Non-existent for the people who aren't caught up to speed. Ooh. Also, he's a character that just works without a faceplate, so third party eventually. Okay, now that the video is longer than 4 minutes, I hope, let's finally talk about all these bastards. Except for Starscream, because he was so good he got his own video. Cheetor is definitely annoying, but he's been through a lot. He went from a young lad to a flying cat to diarrhea, back into a young lad to even smellier diarrhea. This figure being the first time in decades Beast Machines had any representation, and rightfully so. Coming with twin swords that can be stored on the shoulders, ball joints are integral to the core class at this point, but these broken chicken legs surprisingly hold their own. Becoming transformed is no problem, unless we're talking about these unnecessary pimple tabs, which in that case, still no problem. Never thought I'd see the day where I'd be able to describe something from this series as adorable, but here we are. Overall, Beast Machines trashes everything fantastic about its predecessor and should be rightfully thrown in the wastebasket of history. As for this thing, you could make a worse figure of this design, so compared to those, you can call this an improvement that's somewhat worth asking price, but not an essential. Still haven't bought either of the Rock Lords, and this new Emerald one hasn't given me a reason to. Not saying that Shard's terrible, I just feel ripped off in the best possible way. Her posing is what you expect, but a bit limited, and I wish the turbine stayed on during her transformation. On that note, it's not complicated, and it leads to a crystallized helicopter with some of the best blades I've seen in a while. And no, I'm not just saying that because it's 4 instead of 2, and they hide better than the Prime Wars helicopter mold. Okay, I am. She can also split apart because the Rock Lords are the weaponizers of United, and not very good ones if Boulder Crash is any indicator. Shard gives swords to the person she's partnered with, so I'll just say Boulder Crash is an LU cog. If you don't feel like thinking of lore for this Dommy-Mommy version of Chaos, then like Cheetor, she's a non-essential. But if the short was interesting to you and you have the other 2, then yes, I fully recommend her. For the longest time, Gears has been robbed of a proper figure of himself. He was featured in concept art for Kingdom, but nothing ever materialized until 3 years later when he and Silverbolt were shadow revealed for Wave 2. And he's another win with these mini-boss turned deluxe with superior posability, a Tommy gun to make a Mafia leader blush, and a predictable yet satisfying conversion. The truck doesn't look exactly right, but nothing too offensive and can roll alright. But I will say a trunk doesn't look like this. It's too bad Papa Smurf wasn't in the movie longer than he was, cause he fits with the 86 figures extremely well. But if he was, then I had to make a joke about him dying, so I guess that's a blessing in disguise. Go ahead and pick him up, you won't be disappointed, but he's a Season 1 character, so I guess you have him anyway.
Here comes a new challenger!
Diecast construction is indeed a lost art, but it's not always the best material. Case in point, the Transformers Titanium line, which consists of nothing but poorly painted flimsy garbage, and Starscream isn't proving me wrong. His conversion is alright, I guess, but his arms like to sag. The ratchets screech like a Mafia boss's torture victim, and articulation is appalling for 2006 standards. I originally bought him as a stand-in for Starscream's Galaxy Force design, but now that the Legacy figure is out, I have no reason to keep or recommend him. In fact, I wouldn't do that for any titanium figure for that matter, unless it's for morbid curiosity. Other than that, they're completely worthless. Check out this video if you want my full opinion on actual Galaxy Scream, but spoilers, I end up singing its praises. Okay, almost done, so who do we have next? Are you joking? Are you seriously asking me if you should buy a figure that looks wholly accurate to the show model and can convert between modes 50 times in a row without stopping? Of course you should buy it, it's Legacy Silverbolt, sucker! My second favorite Maximal who makes my favorite Maximals figure feel like a dog turd because it is? Fucking buy it now! Okay, maybe it was all the waiting I had to endure that's clouding my judgment, but if I had one complaint, it would be with the Beast Mode head because it's completely nasty for a noble being of his stature. If anyone knows where I can find an upgrade kit to make him look like the show or at least the original toy, please let me know. Otherwise, he's another one of those Transformers I have no problem recommending for its fantastic looks, stellar posing, and stupidly simple but effective transformation. Okay, now that I'm done worshipping the plastic this thing is made out of, I hope my coverage on Wave 2 was worth the wait. No, really, Wave 1 took a longer time to make, but this time was just ridiculous. If you have any of these figures and don't exactly agree with my opinions, then let's have a conversation in the comments. And if you want to support me or just want more content, then I invite you to subscribe to the channel and to follow me on other platforms. I keep forgetting to mention them, so I guess starting in the next major video, this QR code will pop up from time to time. I'm definitely inconsistent with these, but over time they'll be brought up to the same standards as YouTube in terms of scheduling. Instagram and Facebook is where you'll see my figure photos, drawings, and other random memes. TikTok is just a shorts re-upload page. And on Twitter, you can see me give out quick opinions on other people's posts, or just straight up being a menace. There also might be a website featuring the stuff I talked about on the channel eventually, but you didn't hear it from me. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, may whatever time or place treat you well.